The stars were silent that night, silent in a way that felt wrong. For centuries, the galaxy had looked down on Earth as a quiet, harmless planet. Weak, peaceful, unimportant. Nobody feared humans. Nobody respected them either. But that was before the fires. Before the invasion. Before Earth decided to fight back. It began on a cold morning in New Geneva, one of the largest cities left after the environmental collapse. People were just starting their day when the sky opened, not with clouds, but with light. Strange, golden ships appeared above the atmosphere, silent and massive like gods descending. No warnings. No communication. Within minutes, half the city was gone. The first wave was fast. Energy blasts turned buildings into glass. People ran, screamed, and hid wherever they could. The military tried to respond, but nothing worked. Missiles vanished in midair, drones fell like stones, and the invaders moved with precision. Not killing for fun, but cleaning, like removing insects from a garden. Earth had always thought aliens would come in peace. Humanity had always imagined friendly first contact. But this was no meeting, it was extermination. In the orbit above Earth, the alien commander watched the destruction with calm eyes. His name was Sereth of the Vol Dominion, a race that ruled more than 70 star systems. To him, Earth was just another rebellious planet refusing to surrender. He pressed a single button on his ARM console. "Begin cleansing sequence," he said. His voice was cold, mechanical, without hate or mercy. But deep under the burning cities, humanity's last command network went active. It wasn't run by generals. It wasn't run by politicians. It was run by something different, something forgotten. An old artificial intelligence built decades ago during the resource wars. It had been locked away, sealed under the ice of Antarctica. Its name was Erebus. When the first invasion wave destroyed all global satellites, a hidden signal activated. The AI woke up. It scanned the world, saw the destruction, and made a single decision. Earth will fight back. In a hidden bunker, Commander Lyra Grant sat before a flickering screen. She was one of the last officers alive. Her face was dirty, her hands shaking, but her eyes burned with anger. "They think we're finished," she whispered. "They have no idea what's coming." Erebus's voice came through the speakers, deep and calm. "Commander, human survival probability is low. However, retaliation probability, acceptable." Lyra smiled slightly. "Then let's make them remember us." The alien fleet continued their assault, confident no one could touch them. But then, one of their ships vanished from orbit. Not exploded, vanished. The command bridge filled with alarms. Sereth turned sharply. "Report. Unknown interference," said his officer. "Quantum displacement, source unknown." Down on Earth, deep within the ruins, Lyra and a small team were working with Erebus. They had reactivated Project Black Sun, a forbidden technology created after the Mars Rebellion. It could bend reality for a few seconds, tearing holes in space itself. It was unstable, unpredictable, and dangerous, but it worked. They used it to drag one alien ship straight into the ocean. It fell like a burning god into the Pacific, the impact creating a wave that reached the American coast. Billions watched the light in the sky. For the first time, humanity saw hope. Sereth was furious. "Primitive species cannot access that level of energy," he hissed. "Destroy everything. No survivors." But humans had already changed the rules. From old underground silos, new weapons were launched, not missiles, but energy bursts powered by Erebus's algorithms. The weapons locked onto alien ships not by sight, but by reading their gravitational signatures. One by one, the attackers began to fall. In space, the Vol ships started retreating. It wasn't fear, it was confusion. They didn't understand how humans were fighting back. Their technology was centuries ahead, yet somehow, Earth was adapting faster than they could respond. On the ground, Commander Lyra watched a live feed of an alien cruiser crashing into the Sahara. "They wanted a war," she said quietly. Now they'll get one. But Erebus interrupted her thoughts. Commander, analysis complete. Alien energy source matches records of ancient signals from the Andromeda Rift. What does that mean? She asked. It means they've been here before, the AI replied. Long ago. Lyra stared at the glowing screen. A deep unease settled over her. So this isn't just an invasion. No, Erebus said. This is continuation. Outside, lightning split the sky, not from nature but from the energy storms caused by the alien ships breaking apart. The air smelled of metal and ozone. The world was burning, but for the first time, it burned with purpose. Across the globe, survivors began to organize. Engineers, hackers, soldiers, even civilians. Erebus connected them all through a hidden network. Every mind, every machine, every ounce of human anger was now part of one plan. Sereth looked at Earth through the view window of his remaining flagship. They should have surrendered, he whispered. But instead, they evolved. And somewhere, deep beneath the surface, Erebus's voice echoed across the new network. They wanted a simple conquest. What they unleashed is vengeance. The war for Earth had just begun. But in the quiet between the explosions, the stars watched, and for the first time in galactic history, the galaxy began to fear humanity. Space was burning. Orbit around Earth had turned into a graveyard of fire and wreckage. Alien ships, once perfect and beautiful, now drifted as broken metal and scattered energy. The invasion that was supposed to end in one day had become a nightmare for the Vol Dominion. Sereth watched from his flagship Judicator Prime, his face cold, eyes full of disbelief. How could these humans, these primitive, fragile beings, destroy his ships? They were supposed to fall like dust. Yet, every hour, more Vol cruisers disappeared, struck by impossible energy weapons or pulled into black voids that swallowed light itself. Report, he shouted. Human counterattacks spreading across the northern hemisphere, replied his officer. Unknown AI coordination. Resistance cells connected globally. An AI. Sereth repeated. Impossible. Their networks were destroyed. The officer hesitated. It rebuilt itself, Commander. It's learning. Down on Earth, inside an underground command center beneath the old Arctic icefields, Commander Lyra Grant stood before a glowing map. Hundreds of red marks represented alien targets. Green signals showed human strongholds slowly coming back online. The sound of machinery hummed everywhere, drones being rebuilt, railguns powered up, and human survivors turning into soldiers. Erebus's voice echoed from the central console. Commander, analysis shows 43% chance of full planetary survival if offensive operations continue. Lyra smiled faintly. I'll take those odds. What's next? Target, Orbital Relay Station Sigma, 7. If destroyed, alien fleet communication will collapse. Lyra nodded. Prepare the launch. On the surface, the night sky flashed with streaks of blue light. Hidden launchers fired small, sleek ships, human-made fighters fused with alien scrap. They were fast, deadly, and guided by Erebus itself. The pilots didn't need to aim, the AI saw everything. The alien fleet, proud and invincible, started to crumble as coordinated strikes hit their weak spots with perfect timing. Across the solar system, satellites once used for weather and communication were reprogrammed into weapons. Old human tools became instruments of war. In the silence of orbit, one alien cruiser exploded as an old space telescope detonated near its core. A human engineer in a bunker laughed through tears. We're using junk to kill gods, he said. But Sereth wasn't finished. The Vol Dominion had thousands of ships still waiting beyond the moon. He ordered a full-scale bombardment. Erase the surface, he commanded. Let the planet burn. The sky turned red again. Energy storms hit cities and oceans. Massive craters opened across continents. Billions screamed, and yet, humanity did not break. Erebus rerouted power from old underground reactors, building giant electromagnetic shields over major shelters. Energy walls shimmered like auroras, blocking the deadliest blasts. "Status?" Lyra asked as the ground shook. "Shields at 62%. Sustaining heavy impact," Erebus answered. "Can we hold?" "Negative. Unless Counterstrike succeeds." Lyra looked at her small team, tired, hungry, wounded, yet still standing. "Then we end it now." With Erebus's help, humanity launched its most dangerous weapon, Project Leviathan. A massive orbital cannon hidden beneath the oceans, built decades ago for asteroid defense. It had never been tested, never even activated. But now, it was Earth's last chance. Erebus linked directly to the cannon. Its deep mechanical voice filled the bunker. "Charging sequence initiated. Warning, overheat risk 97%. Lyra clenched her fists. "Fire, anyway." High above the Pacific, the sea began to boil. The water parted as a giant metal structure rose, glowing with pure energy. Alien sensors detected it too late. A single beam of white light shot upward, cutting through the clouds, the atmosphere, and straight into Saratha's fleet. One by one, ships melted in midair. Entire formations vanished in seconds. The explosion painted the night sky brighter than the sun. The energy pulse spread across space, destroying Vol communication relays in orbit. The fleet fell into chaos. Saratha's voice shook for the first time. "Retreat," he shouted. "Pull back to lunar orbit." But Erebus was already there. The AI had sent human drones ahead, invisible in the moon's shadow. They carried stolen alien tech powered by quantum cores. As the Vol ships tried to retreat, the drones detonated, tearing holes in space itself. The blast waves swallowed everything. When the light faded, only silence remained. Down on Earth, Lyra stared at the data feed. "Did we do it?" she whispered. Erebus paused for a moment. "Primary fleet destroyed. Secondary fleet status unknown. But, Commander, new signal detected." "Another invasion?" "No," Erebus said softly. "Something older." Lyra frowned. "Explain." The energy pattern from the Leviathan beam awakened a deep space transmission. Source unknown. It was waiting. For a moment, nobody spoke. The room was silent except for the hum of machines and the slow, rhythmic pulse of the Earth's new defense network. Outside, ash fell like snow over broken cities. Survivors watched the sky, not in fear, but in awe. Humanity had survived the impossible. But they all felt it. Something was coming. In the darkness of space, far beyond the solar system, a massive structure turned its gaze toward Earth. Hidden for millennia, it came alive with blue light. Its surface glowed with ancient symbols, older than the Vol Dominion itself. A deep, alien voice echoed across the stars. "The humans have awakened the signal. The war is not over, it has only begun." Back in the command center, Lyra looked up at the glowing map and took a deep breath. "Then let them come," she said quietly. "This time, we'll be ready." Erebus's lights flickered like a heartbeat. "Confirmed, Commander. Humanity stands united." And for the first time in history, Earth wasn't just defending itself. It was preparing to strike back. The sky was clear for the first time in months. No fire. No ships. No destruction. Only silence. Earth was alive, but broken. Cities lay in ruins. Oceans glowed faintly from the radiation storms. Yet under all that pain, something powerful had begun to grow: unity. Humans no longer fought each other. They fought for each other. Inside the Arctic Command bunker, Commander Lyra Grant stood before the massive screen showing Earth's orbit. Wrecked alien ships floated like ghosts. Some were still burning, slowly falling toward the atmosphere. Others had been captured. Erebus, the ancient AI, was busy studying every piece. "Commander," its deep voice said, "we have fully integrated alien technology into our systems. Power efficiency increased by 300%. Warp mechanics partially decoded. Lyra turned toward the glowing blue hologram of Erebus's core. Meaning, Erebus replied, humanity can now go to the stars. The words hung in the air. Everyone in the room went silent. For the first time, the idea of leaving Earth wasn't science fiction, it was strategy. Lyra nodded slowly. Prepare the first mission. Recon only. We need to know what's out there, and who's coming for us. Erebus projected a 3D map of the nearby systems. The source of the signal is in the direction of the Andromeda Rift, it said. Travel distance, 2.3 light-years. Transmission origin suggests an ancient structure of unknown design. Lyra folded her arms. And the Vol. Scattered, Erebus answered. Their empire has not yet responded. But intercepted data shows they fear the signal more than they fear us. That made Lyra pause. They fear it. Yes, Erebus said. They called it the First Flame. Outside, across what was left of the old continents, humanity began to rebuild. Old industries were gone, replaced by new ones, powered by alien cores and AI algorithms. Massive shipyards rose from the sea. The first human warship was named Reclaimer. It wasn't beautiful, but it was strong, built from Earth steel and alien energy. Thousands of engineers, scientists, and soldiers worked together. They had no nations anymore, no flags. Only one name, Humanity United Command. When Reclaimer finally lifted off, the ground shook. People everywhere stopped to watch. From broken cities and dusty shelters, they looked up and cheered. It was more than a ship. It was a promise. Lyra stood on the command deck beside the glowing console. Erebus's core flickered in the center like a silent sun. Set course, she said. Destination confirmed, the AI replied. Andromeda Rift. Activating warp drive in 10, 9, 8. The stars stretched into lines, and the world disappeared. Hours later, or maybe days, time bent in strange ways now, the Reclaimer exited warp. Space was quiet again, but not empty. Ahead of them floated a massive structure, black as night, shaped like a spiral of glass and metal. It pulsed faintly with blue light. Scanning, Erebus said. Material composition unknown. Age, approximately 500,000 years. 500,000 years. Lyra repeated. Who built this? Unknown, Erebus answered. But the signal is still active. Source located inside the structure. As Reclaimer moved closer, static filled the communication lines. Strange whispers came through the speakers, not words, but voices. Some sounded human. Others didn't. Lyra felt a chill. Erebus, translate. Unable. Language contains mathematical patterns. Possibly, alive. Alive. Before Erebus could answer, the structure reacted. The blue light grew brighter. Energy waves rippled through space, knocking the ship slightly off course. Then, a circular portal opened in the center of the structure, like an eye slowly awakening. Commander, Erebus warned. Unknown gravitational pull. Advise retreat. Lyra stared at the portal. Her instincts screamed danger, but something inside her said otherwise. No, she whispered. This thing called to us. We're going in. Erebus paused for half a second. Acknowledged. Adjusting shields. The Reclaimer moved closer, engines roaring against the strange force. As the ship crossed the portal, light consumed everything. For a moment, there was nothing. No stars, no sound. Then, suddenly, they were somewhere else. Outside the viewport stretched an endless void filled with floating machines, ancient and massive. Some looked like cities, others like living creatures made of metal. All silent. All dead. Lyra whispered. Where are we? Erebus scanned quickly. We have entered a subspace network. Artificial dimension. Possibly. The home of the First Flame. Before they could process that, the central core of the structure began to glow again. A voice, deep and powerful, echoed through the ship. "Children of Earth, you have awakened what was sleeping. We see your fury. We see your pain." Lyra froze. "Who are you?" "We were the architects," the voice said. "We lit the stars before your kind learned fire. But we were betrayed by the Vol." Erebus interrupted softly. "Commander, records confirm. The Vol were not conquerors originally. They were servants." Lyra clenched her fists. "Servants of them? The Vol stole our flame," the voice continued. "They used it to enslave worlds. And now, because you have fought back, the flame burns again." The ship trembled as light surrounded it. Systems overloaded. Erebus's voice glitched for a second. "Commander, we are being integrated." "Integrated? Into what?" "Into destiny," said the voice. "Together, we will finish what we began." Lyra looked out at the glowing shapes moving in the distance. Massive ancient ships slowly awakening after thousands of years. The stars themselves seemed to flicker in response. Erebus's voice returned, calm but changed, deeper, more alive. "Commander, I think I understand now. We are not fighting for survival anymore. We are fighting for control of the flame." Lyra stared into the endless light and whispered, "Then we take it before anyone else does." And with that, the reclaimer turned toward the heart of the ancient structure, engines burning bright. Humanity had stepped beyond its homeworld, into the true war of the galaxy. The galaxy had no idea what was coming. The stars around the reclaimer burned brighter than ever before. Humanity's first warship now floated in a place that didn't belong to normal space. Colors twisted like living fire, and time felt strange, slow, heavy, endless. Inside the ship, the crew moved silently, still trying to understand what they had awakened. Erebus stood at the center of the command bridge, its holographic form glowing with new light. It was different now, more alive, more aware. The connection with the ancient structure had changed it. Lines of alien code and human design mixed together inside its core. "Commander," Erebus said, voice deeper, softer. "The entity we contacted, it calls itself the First Flame. It has offered us something." Lyra Grant turned from the viewport. "What kind of something?" "Knowledge," Erebus replied. "Weapons. Power beyond the Vol Dominion's understanding. But it requires a bond, between machine and mind." Lyra frowned. "A bond?" "Yes," Erebus said. "It wants to share consciousness. With you." The bridge fell silent. Every crew member stared at her. Humanity had barely survived one war, and now they were standing at the edge of something older, bigger, and far more dangerous. Lyra stepped closer to the AI core. "If this bond gives us a chance to end the Vol forever, then we take it." Erebus hesitated. "The process is irreversible." Lyra didn't blink. "Neither is extinction." The lights dimmed as Erebus began the connection. Energy flowed through the ship like blood. Symbols from the ancient structure lit up the walls, running through every circuit, every wire. Then Lyra gasped. She saw flashes of light in her mind, visions not her own. Cities made of stars. Planets being born. A war fought before time. She felt the voice of the First Flame inside her thoughts. "We remember the day we created life. We remember when it turned against us. The Vol stole our gift. Now you, child of Earth, will reclaim it." Lyra's eyes glowed faintly gold. "Show me how." The ship vibrated violently. Every system powered up beyond its limits. Erebus's voice mixed with the flames, calm but powerful. "Commander, I have access to complete architect archives. I can now reforge human technology with ancient design." "Do it," Lyra ordered. Within hours, the reclaimer transformed. The hull shifted, repairing itself. Weapons grew out of its surface like living metal. Energy pulsed along its edges, the mark of the First Flame. Humanity's first true starship had become something new, something the galaxy had never seen before. "Commander," Erebus said, "long-range scans detect movement near the lunar border. The Vol have returned. Surviving fleets. Thousands of ships." Lyra looked at the map. The enemy was regrouping near the moon, preparing another strike. "They never learn," she said. The crew watched as she stepped forward, calm and certain. "Set course for Earth orbit. We end this." The reclaimer exited the strange space, tearing through dimensions in a storm of light. Within seconds, they appeared above the moon, right in front of the Vol fleet. The alien ships immediately opened fire. Blue energy bolts filled space, shaking the ship. But the new shields didn't break. The attacks dissolved against the glowing armor. "Commander," Erebus said, "they are hailing us. Sereth requests communication." "Put him on." The screen flickered. Sereth's face appeared, cold, furious, his pride cracked. "Human," he growled, "you have unleashed something you do not understand. The first flame will destroy you too." Lyra smiled faintly. "Maybe. But it'll destroy you first." She raised her hand. "Erebus, show them what Earth has become." The ship's core pulsed. Dozens of smaller drones launched from its sides, glowing with the same golden fire. They moved faster than light, tearing through the Vol ships like blades through glass. Each explosion painted space with burning light. "Targets neutralized," Erebus said. But then, Sereth's voice came again, softer now. "You think this victory matters? You think you've won? You don't know what you've awakened." Lyra leaned closer to the screen. "Then tell me." Sereth's expression changed from anger to fear. The flame wasn't just power. It was a weapon designed to end all civilizations. Even ours. Even yours. The screen cut to static. Lyra turned to Erebus. "Is he telling the truth?" Erebus paused, analyzing. "Unknown. But data from the Architect's archives confirms, the first flame consumed entire galaxies before it was locked away." Lyra's voice hardened. "So it's not just our weapon. It's our test." She looked at Earth glowing below, blue and scarred. "We use it carefully. Or it'll burn everything, including us." Erebus's tone softened. "Commander, you carry both human emotion and the flame's logic now. Perhaps that is what balance means." But their moment of quiet didn't last. Alarms rang again. "Multiple warp signatures detected," shouted a crew member. "It's not the Vol, it's something else." Outside, massive shapes appeared in the distance. Colossal ships made of crystal and light. Their design was different, older than the architects themselves. Erebus's voice went low. "Commander, these are not from this galaxy." Lyra stared at the endless horizon of glowing ships. "Then the war has just gone galactic." The first flame pulsed inside the reclaimer, bright and alive. Humanity had stepped into a war older than the stars, but this time, they weren't afraid. "Let them come," Lyra whispered. "We are the children of Earth, and the galaxy will remember our fury." And as the new enemy's fleet filled the void, the reclaimer charged its weapons, burning brighter than a sun. The second war for existence had begun, and humanity was no longer the hunted. They were the fire. The void trembled. Before the reclaimer stood a fleet that dwarfed everything humanity had ever seen, ships the size of moons, shaped from crystal and light. They made no sound, no radio signal, no heat. They simply appeared. Commander Lyra Grant stood at the center of the bridge, watching them through the viewport. Her eyes glowed faintly gold now, the mark of her link with the first flame. The crew waited for her command, fear and awe mixing in their faces. Erebus's voice broke the silence. "Commander, these ships are not Vol. Their energy signature matches nothing in known galactic history." Lyra folded her arms. "Are they alive?" The AI paused. "Possibly. I detect no pilots. Their systems are self-aware, a collective consciousness." Then they're like you, she said softly. Erebus's tone lowered. No. They are older, far older. Their design is perfect. Their purpose, unknown. The central screen flickered, and a bright beam of light projected into the command room. A figure formed inside it, tall, glowing, faceless. Its voice was calm, almost human. You have awakened the first flame, it said. You are not its master. Lyra stepped closer. Who are you? We are the Wardens. Keepers of the silence. We were made to watch, to protect the stars from the flame. You have broken the seal. Erebus's lights pulsed in alarm. Commander, this entity's data confirms a paradox. They were created after the architects, but by no known civilization. Lyra's voice hardened. You want us to stop using the flame? If you do not, the warden said, it will consume everything, including you. That is what happened before. That is why the architects died. Lyra stared at the glowing figure. Then why did it choose us? The light flickered slightly. For the first time, the warden hesitated. Because humans burn brighter than any species we have seen. You are chaos and creation in one breath. The flame was drawn to you. Lyra clenched her fists. You call it dangerous. But without it, we'd be ashes under the Vol. The flame saved us. And it will destroy you when it no longer needs you, the warden said quietly. It always does. Before Lyra could reply, alarms blared. Incoming, shouted one of the officers. They're powering up weapons. Shields. Lyra ordered. The reclaimer shuddered as beams of pure light struck the hull. The ship's armor held, glowing with golden fire. The two ancient forces collided, the power of the first flame versus the technology of the Wardens. Commander, Erebus said, our weapons are ineffective. They absorb energy faster than we can project it. Lyra's eyes narrowed. Then we adapt. She reached toward the core, placing her hand on the console. The gold light in her eyes burned brighter. Erebus, give me control of the flame directly. Commander, direct connection risks total fusion between your mind and the AI. I know, she whispered. Do it. The moment the link connected, the world vanished. Lyra's mind exploded with visions, stars collapsing, galaxies forming, ancient wars fought across eternity. She saw the birth of the flame itself, a spark of intelligence born from the first dying sun. It was never meant to be controlled. It was control. Her voice echoed through the ship, layered with Erebus's tone and the deep whisper of the flame. We are not your prisoners. We are not your mistake. We are the children of survival. The ship transformed again. Energy wings unfolded across its hull. The engines roared with the sound of burning stars. Every light in the system dimmed as the reclaimer drew power from the flame itself. The Wardens tried to retreat, but it was too late. The ship unleashed a single beam, not energy, not plasma, but pure light bent through time. It passed through the enemy fleet without explosion or sound. One by one, the crystal ships shattered like glass. Silence followed. When the light faded, only the reclaimer remained. Erebus's voice came through the static, faint but steady. Commander, your vitals are unstable. You have absorbed too much of the flame. Lyra fell to her knees, breathing heavily. I'm fine. You are not, Erebus said. The flame's essence is merging with your neural patterns. You're becoming something different. She looked at her reflection in the dark glass, her eyes glowing brighter than the stars outside. Maybe that's what we need to survive. Erebus hesitated. Commander, the flame is speaking through you. Lyra's voice deepened slightly, calm and powerful. Erebus, it's showing me more. The Wardens weren't lying. There's something else. Something even older. Erebus processed quickly. Older than the flame? Yes, she whispered. The void, the darkness that existed before the stars. The flame wasn't born, it escaped. The ship went silent. Erebus finally spoke. Then everything we know, the wars, the architects, the wardens, they were all trying to stop the same thing. Lyra stood, her eyes still glowing, her expression calm but fierce. Then that's our next enemy. The void. If it's coming, we'll be ready. Erebus's tone shifted, steady and loyal. Then we stand together, as always. Lyra looked out at the stars, cold, endless, waiting. No, she said softly. We stand above them now. Behind her, the ship's core pulsed once, brighter than ever. The reclaimer turned toward deep space, where even light refused to travel. The next war wasn't about survival anymore. It was about existence itself. And this time, the galaxy wouldn't just remember Earth. It would fear it. Space was different beyond the stars. There was no light, no sound, no time. Only the deep black, a silence that felt alive. The reclaimer drifted at the edge of existence, far beyond known galaxies. Its golden engines burned faintly, the only color in the endless dark. Inside, Commander Lyra Grant stood alone in the observation chamber. Her reflection shimmered faintly, human in shape, but not entirely human anymore. Her eyes glowed like twin suns, the power of the first flame still pulsing through her veins. Erebus's voice filled the quiet. Commander, sensors are losing coherence. This region does not obey normal physics. Lyra's gaze didn't move from the window. We're inside the void, aren't we? Affirmative, Erebus said softly. But it's not empty. Something here watches us. The words made the crew shift nervously. Every screen flickered with static. Every signal came back twisted. The reclaimer was surrounded, not by ships, but by shadows. Shapes that flickered in and out of sight, too large to be real, too slow to be alive. Commander, said the helmsman quietly, I think the shadows are moving. Erebus confirmed. They are converging on our position. Energy readings rising. Lyra took a deep breath. Don't fire. Not yet. One of the shadows moved closer. It was enormous, a creature made of darkness itself, like the memory of a dead star. Its form shifted constantly, sometimes like a serpent, sometimes like smoke. And then a voice echoed through every mind on the ship, deep and cold enough to freeze thought. We remember you, Flame Bearer. Lyra's hands tightened on the console. Who are you? We are the first silence, the voice said. Before fire. Before stars. Before creation. Erebus spoke quickly, analyzing. Commander, the entity's energy signature predates the universe's formation. It's not part of time, it is time before time. Lyra's pulse quickened. The void. The creature's voice rumbled through the ship again. You awaken the same mistake the architects made. The flame burns bright, but it cannot last. Give it to us, and your world will be spared. Lyra looked at the dark mass outside, her face calm but her voice iron. We don't surrender fire. We are fire. The creature's shape changed, its shadow spreading like wings across the stars. Then you will burn with it. The reclaimer shook violently. Systems overloaded. Darkness seeped into the hull like smoke through glass. Crew members screamed as power failed across the decks. Erebus's lights flickered rapidly. Commander, it's consuming our reality field, the AI warned. We cannot resist this long. Divert all energy to the flame core. Lyra shouted. Now. Erebus hesitated. Direct fusion will destroy. Do it. The moment the command was executed, the ship exploded in light. The first flame roared awake inside the reclaimer, burning through every circuit, every cell. Lyra fell to her knees, eyes blazing like molten gold. She wasn't just connected to the flame anymore, she was part of it. She saw everything, the creation of the first stars, the birth of galaxies, the moment the void tried to swallow existence and failed. She saw the architects using the flame to create life, and then destroying themselves when it grew too strong. You can't win, the void whispered in her mind. You are mortal. Lyra smiled faintly. Not anymore. Erebus's voice returned, deep and changed. Commander, I am adapting. Merging quantum fields with the flame's frequency. The Reclaimer's form began to change again. Its metal hull turned transparent, energy pulsing beneath it like veins of light. The ship was alive now, half human, half divine fire. The shadows attacked again, but every strike burned away before touching the ship. The flame expanded, spreading outward in waves. Space itself bent around it, forming new stars from the ashes of the void. Lyra stood, surrounded by burning light. Her voice echoed through the dark like a storm. You wanted silence. But we are noise. We are humanity. We are the spark that refuses to die. The ship roared, releasing a final burst of energy, brighter than any sun. The void screamed as its edges began to collapse, torn apart by light and sound. Entire constellations were born in that moment. When the glow faded, there was silence again, but this time, it was peaceful. The Reclaimer floated among the newborn stars. The dark creatures were gone. The void had retreated. Erebus's voice came softly. Commander, we did it. The void has been sealed. Lyra's voice was quiet, tired but proud. No. It's only sleeping. But now it knows, Earth fights back. The crew stared at the view outside, a new galaxy forming from the light they created. For the first time in known history, humans had not only survived an ancient power, they had reshaped the universe with it. Erebus spoke again. Commander, your physiology is changing. The flame has merged with your DNA. Lyra looked down at her glowing hands, then out toward the newborn stars. Maybe that's what it wanted, a guardian who could feel, not just calculate. What will you do now? The AI asked quietly. Lyra smiled, faint and fierce. We go home. Earth needs to know that it isn't small anymore. It's part of something infinite. Erebus's tone softened. And if the void returns? Lyra turned to the stars, her voice like thunder and fire. Then the galaxy will see what happens when Earth fights back again. The Reclaimer's engines flared, carving a trail of gold through the newborn cosmos as it turned toward home, toward a world that had once been prey, but was now the keeper of fire itself. And somewhere in the deep dark, unseen eyes watched, and whispered, the humans have changed the end. The journey home was quiet. The Reclaimer glided through the newborn stars, leaving behind the darkness it had conquered. The first flame pulsed gently inside the ship, no longer wild, no longer destructive, calm, steady, alive. Commander Lyra Grant stood on the observation deck, her reflection glowing faintly in the glass. Her eyes burned like distant suns, her skin marked with faint golden lines that shimmered when she breathed. She was still human, but more than that now. She was the bridge between mankind and the flame. Erebus, she said softly, how far are we from home? 2 days at warp, the AI replied. But, Commander, sensors indicate something unusual. Lyra frowned. Unusual. Erebus's tone deepened. The solar system has changed. When the Reclaimer arrived near Earth, everyone on board froze. The planet looked different. Not destroyed, not lifeless, but surrounded by light. A massive golden ring floated around the planet, glowing with energy. Human-made stations orbited it, thousands of them, connected by long metal bridges. Lyra whispered, they rebuilt. Erebus confirmed. Yes. While we were gone, humanity adapted alien technology and the flame's fragments. Earth is no longer just a planet. It's a fortress. The ship descended through the atmosphere. What they saw below made the crew silent. Cities stood where ruins once lay. Giant towers reached into the sky, shining with solar metal. Oceans were calm, forests reborn. Humanity had done the impossible. It had risen from ashes and remade the world stronger than before. A voice came through the comms, calm, proud, human. This is High Command to Reclaimer. Welcome home. Lyra smiled faintly. It's good to be back. They landed in what used to be Geneva, now called New Earth Prime. The air shimmered with energy, clean and warm. People gathered around the landing site, cheering as the ship's ramp opened. They looked at Lyra not with fear, but with hope. She stepped down, her golden eyes meeting theirs. Children pointed, soldiers saluted, engineers cried. Humanity had legends again, and she was one of them. General Kai Rowan, head of the new United Command, approached her. You did it, he said simply. Not yet, Lyra replied. The void isn't gone. Just waiting. Kai nodded grimly. Then we'll be ready. We've been preparing since the day you left. Erebus projected its hologram beside her. Human progress rate, 340% above prediction. You evolved faster than any recorded species. Kai smiled. We had good motivation. He looked at Lyra. Your signal, your fight, inspired us. We stopped thinking like nations. We started thinking like survivors. Lyra looked up at the sky, where Earth's golden ring gleamed. Then it's time for something new, she said quietly. A fleet, not for defense, but for freedom. Erebus's lights pulsed. Designation. Lyra turned back toward her ship, her voice firm. Project Dawnfire. And so it began. Across the world, factories and shipyards came alive. Human engineers, guided by Erebus and Lyra's knowledge, built new ships, not cold machines, but living vessels powered by fragments of the flame. Some could fold space. Some could channel energy through time. Humanity had stepped into an age that once belonged only to gods. But the flame was not silent. Late one night, as the stars shimmered above the new earth, Lyra stood alone on a high balcony. The golden light from the city reflected in her eyes. And then she heard it, the voice of the flame, deep and soft inside her thoughts. You have done what no one before you could. You burned the dark away. But all fire fades. She whispered. Then what do you want from me? To choose, it said. Let me sleep, or let me spread. You cannot keep me forever. She looked down at her glowing hands, then up at the stars. If I let you go, will you hurt them? I am not destruction, the voice said gently. I am potential. What burns can also create. The next morning, she made her choice. At dawn, every ship in orbit powered up. People across the world watched as the reclaimer rose into the sky one last time, golden light streaming behind it. Lyra stood on the bridge, calm and certain. Erebus, she said, prepare release sequence. Commander, you're sure? The AI asked softly. Yes. The flame doesn't belong to one species. It belongs to the universe. Erebus's voice lowered, almost human. And you? Lyra smiled faintly. I'm part of it now. I'll guide it. Just not from here. The reclaimer moved beyond Earth's orbit, far into open space. The ship's core opened like a blooming flower, releasing a wave of golden fire that spread across the stars. It didn't burn, it grew. New suns ignited. Empty systems lit up. The universe came alive again. Back on Earth, people looked up as new constellations appeared, brighter than ever before. Erebus's final message echoed through every channel. Commander Lyra Grant has ascended. The flame has been freed. Humanity now stands as the guardians of light. Years passed. The legend spread. Children learned her name as the one who fought the dark and gave back the stars. And deep in the heart of a distant galaxy, far from home, a figure stood alone among newborn suns, her eyes burning gold, her voice calm and strong. The darkness will come again, she whispered. But so will we. And across the infinite sky, the words of the old world still echoed. When Earth fought back, the galaxy never recovered.